Still in an undisclosed location, as always.
Absolutely, yes.
All right. So, people might ask that. I mean, I've seen some tweets saying, "Hey, why does John bother to live on the run all the time instead of just doing things right and live like a normal person?" In which I can sort of understand that, for someone who is thriving for ultimate freedom in the world where we're enslaved, even the idea of freedom itself is very scary for most people. We're comfortable being controlled and being told what to do. But what is your narrative behind having to deal with the alphabet boys all the time?
Well, freedom has nothing to do with where you're able to go, or what you're able to do. It has more to do with your refusal to be anything other than yourself. That's freedom. All right. So it does not matter then where you are. We're in a Dominican Republic jail 4 months ago, and I'm laughing and having a good time because I'm still who I am. And no one can sway me from my reality. That's freedom. I mean, Emerson. Okay. Was it Emerson or Thoreau? I get them confused. Or maybe no one's heard of those people anymore. They were philosophers in America: Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau. And Emerson, I think, was involved in some kind of civil disobedience. Okay, so the town council passed some silly law. He thought it was silly, and he refused to obey it. Okay, so they put him in jail. And his friend Henry came out and said, "What are you doing in there?" And he said, "What are you doing out there?" And so, and then he after that wrote the line saying, "Stone walls do not a prison make," and they don't.
Right. So
I mean, you can lock up my body, but you can't lock up me. I'm sorry. Maybe that's a better way of saying it.
Actually, Jay-Z said exactly the same thing in a song called "Dead Presidents." I think he said something like that. Exactly the same words.
Really?
Yeah. It's interesting.
Well, it is the most efficient way to say the truth, I guess.
Exactly. Can lock my body, but can't lock up my soul. Something along those lines, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, the song is called "The Evils." Yeah. Another thing that I wanted to discuss with you is regarding your crypto promotions on Twitter. So a lot of people say you pump scams on Twitter, and that's how you make money. You promote things that aren't necessarily real. What is your response to that? That you promote coins.
Give me a specific allegation. I mean, how can I respond to some vague thing about I pump coins? Give me a name of a coin. Give me a date. Tell me how I pumped it. I mean, see, this is how the media fucks with the minds of the people. Just as you just now said, how do you respond to these vague allegations? What if I said the same thing to you? What do you say, Mr. Hardcore Crypto, about the fact that people say you're not exactly a nice guy, and you're well, how do you can't answer that. So please, sir, as a member of the media, you have a responsibility to ask questions.
Yes.
That number one makes sense, and number two can have an answer to. So rather than saying something like, here's how I would have said it, Mr. McAfee, what about the allegations that you took the coin Sether back in 2016 and promoted it and made $10 million on it? And do you understand?
Yes.
Then I can say, well, number one, I've never heard of the coin, or I have, or I can answer those questions.
So, for example, do you believe in all the coins that you promote?
I'm sorry?
Do you innately believe in all the projects that you promote on your personal social media?
Absolutely, else I wouldn't be promoting it.
All
And
right.
when's the last time I actually promoted a coin? It's been, if there's been 2 in the past year, it's only because of past contracts. I don't have the time to do that anymore. It's very tedious.
Yeah. I suppose it's also like I think you just have the network effects to make a statement, and then it has an effect to it. Most people would comment about a certain project that they like, but it's not as effective because they don't have the following that you have. I think so. It's almost a little unfair because you have a huge following, and then people end up buying stuff or not.
But you know what? If in fact I believe in something, and I tell people I believe in it, and it is true, then does it matter if I am paid for that?
Right.
You all want me to starve? I mean, I have a massive expense in doing the things I'm doing, and speaking where I need to speak, and so I'm not going to rob a bank to do that. And I think I have created a method by which I can be rewarded for being myself.
Oh wow!
I am being myself on Twitter, for fuck's sake, people. Can't you see that? And if people want to pay me to be myself, then fuck yes. I will take 100%.
I would take it too, man. Do you have a model of what you say the next year will be like for McAfee, for Mr. McAfee or the McAfee project, or you just live freely?
Listen. The crypto world is such a wild west of uncertainty. I'm just doing one thing right now, and that's the McAfee DEX, because I think it is the most important of all projects out there. If we do not have truly decentralized and truly distributed exchanges, both combined, then we will be shut down by governments within the next 3 or 4 years, I promise you, because centralized exchanges or exchanges themselves are a necessity of the crypto economy, else it just won't fly, it will not work. And if they shut them down, they shut us down. The McAfee DEX, it's in beta, it came out 4 weeks ago. We don't ask any information. We don't want your name, your email address. We don't ask for documents. You don't have to do a deposit. We hold nobody's money. We hold nobody's tokens ever at any time. Everything is done with smart contracts on the blockchains. We have Ethereum currently. Hopefully in the next few hours, we're going to have Tron. It was working fine on the Tron test net, but oddly enough, Tron's main net is somehow different. But in any case, it's going to be up in a few hours. So then we'll have Tron. We're going to be adding EOS, Neo, and Binance by the end of December. Then the first quarter of next year, we'll have cross-chain transactions. None of these are cross-chain now. When Tron comes up, you can exchange Tron for Tron, other Trons, Ethereum, the thousands of Ethereum tokens, you can trade all of those. The second quarter of next year, we will have full cross-chain capability, so any coin can be exchanged for any other coin through the exchange. Now,
awesome.
We can't ever be shut down because the logic is in the smart contracts on the blockchains.
Yeah, but the authorities know that you're the creator of it. So how responsible?
I'm on the run anyway. Why should I care? Do you understand?
Yeah, well, for sure.
You understand what's happening? I don't care. They can't catch me for what they want me for already. And I'm doing nothing illegal here. Nothing. I believe firmly it is every individual's right to do with the fruits of their labor in any way that they please, without interference, without control, without oversight, and without any observation. And I also believe, at least in America, which is where I have my problems, that taxation is illegal. It is illegal. It is unconstitutional. And we never had an income tax until 1913.
Okay, so John, explain what a word of non-fiat currency and no tax would look like? Because the argument out there is that, okay, we need government to take some money so that they can put money in the hospitals, create roads, and provide security. So if we remove all these things, what would the world look like?
See how you're deluded. Everybody is deluded by government into them saying, oh, if we don't tax you, how are we going to survive? My question to the U.S. government would be, now, wait a minute. You survived from 1776 till 1913 without any? What were you doing? Manufacturing gold out of the air? Fuck no, people. There are tens of thousands of ways for governments to earn a living. But governments no longer earn their living. Instead, they tax the people.
They have
Do you
to
understand
earn.
what a horror that is?
Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to do a sane tax, like, okay, you drive on the highway, for every mile that you drive on a highway, you pay 10 cents. Well, that's pretty darn reasonable, okay? Or 5 cents, whatever. Look at the trillions of miles of driving on just U.S. highways alone.
But John,
And yet they don't do that. Why don't they do that? Too complicated. Well, we've got to get meters in everybody's car. That's your fucking problem, government.
Yeah.
I mean, instead it's going, we have to tell you what we make, and we have to fill out all the forms and give you the money so you don't have to do anything.
I think they look at us like as children. You know, they think that we're children, that they have to, you know, I think that the government look at their citizens as like brainless individuals that needs to be controlled and being told what to do. You know, it's a little sad.
But in many cases, that's exactly what citizens are.
Another thing that I wanted to bring up was that, is it possible to live the way you live without being rich, or is something that you have to get rich first? Because there's a level of free. I mean, there was a podcast with Navarre and Joe Rogan where they were talking about, you know, this kind of thing, that, you know, levels of freedom, experimentation, and self-sovereignty. Do you think at this current state of the world, can one achieve that level of freedom that you have without being rich first?
Okay, I think that people have a complete misunderstanding of what freedom and rich mean. Because I can promise you, having been richer than God at one point, it felt I had more money I could ever spend on anything. Not a possibility. So I know what that is. And I can promise you this: money will not free you. It is a further enslavement. And let me give you examples from my real life.
Right.
I mean, at one point, I had mansions in Colorado, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, Hawaii, Ecuador, all over the world. I didn't even see half of them, even after they had been built. Now, living with this degree of wealth does one thing only. It makes you have to work for the shit that you have. Why? If you don't, you might lose it. If you don't protect your money, you may lose it. If you don't keep your houses up, you may lose them. A pipe could burst and flood. So I was at the mercy of everything I owned. My days were a call from some property managers. I had staffs of up to 25 people in each of these things. We'd get a call. The second well we drilled, this is up in Colorado, a real fucking thing. It started to spit out powdered rock. It says, we got no water up here. What are we going to do? Well, drilling a well up in the mountains of Colorado may take 2 months. I've got a staff of 25 people without water. Now, who owns who in this situation? The fucking house owns me.
Yes.
I am the one doing its service, right? Oh, I'm broken, fix me. That's what it's all about. So no, money doesn't bring you any fucking freedom, people. Being yourself is the only thing that brings you freedom. Now, I will say this. Once you have absolutely accepted you for who you are, I mean, who you really fucking are, not those pieces you forget, not those pieces that you rationalize away, but no, who you really fucking are, and you accept that, then generally money comes to you, because this is how, I don't know why, the fucking universe works. You get a handle on yourself and it knocks on your door. I mean, you trip over it in the fucking streets. I can't describe it. But you ask anybody if they will be honest, frank, and truthful with you. We'll tell you the same thing. Bill Gates, you think he's any smarter than anybody else? No. Can I tell you how he made his fortune? Because I was there at the time. Okay. And I've met Mr. Gates. But this is back in 1986.
You mean Bill Gates, that is?
Pardon?
You mean Bill Gates?
Of course I know him, yes.
Right.
Okay, I'm talking about Bill Gates, yes. So before personal computers came around, there was no real software, no real anything. It was just mainframe computers. Personal computers in the form of IBM PCs, and later on the Apple, or actually it was the Apple first, and then the IBM PC, started this entire revolution where your PCs are now in your smartphones. Bill Gates had this tiny group of people up in Seattle, Washington, that had written an operating system for the IBM PC. No, not for the IBM PC. It's for the predecessor. Anyway, they had an operating system called DOS, Disk Operating System. There was another company in Lower California that called Digital Research that had another operating called the Disk Operating System. IBM, when it built its personal computer, went first to the guy in California and said, we want to buy your operating system, okay? We're not going to pay you a lot of money for it, but we're going to give you rights to it, and we will use your operating system in all of our future products. The guy down in California said, I have to have my lawyers look at this. IBM had no time. They went up and talked to Bill Gates. He looked at it and said, yes, and signed it. He got rich because somebody else chose not to delve into that same project. It's all luck, people. It's all flat out luck. Be yourself, do what you love, money flows.
Right. That's a very good point of being. I think you're the one of the ultimate examples of being yourself. You know, you play around a lot. You have made movies. I don't know why you stopped making those YouTube videos, man. That was cool.
Time. Well, listen, okay, so the reason I didn't is shortly after making that video, I wish Janice, I wish you were here to verify this. Right after we started making those videos, we were chased by some very ugly people for almost 2 years around the world, dude.
Wow.
And so I didn't have a lot of time. I had to keep, you know, money coming in, so I had to keep doing some business, but no time for fun. At least not that type of fun.
So one question that popped up from the people in the groups, they're saying, so what made you to decide to leave? How many wives or girlfriends did you had in Belize? Was it 7 in total? From having 7 girlfriends to what made you decide to finally have one woman in your life?
Oh my God! You know, listen. The reason I only want one now is because I have had 7 at the same time on the same property, and I want to promise you, men out there, women are not even going to listen to this. They're going to turn off right away. So I know I'm only talking to men now. All right.
Right.
So you guys, let's get real with each other. The thing you think you want, you know, that golden triangle, it doesn't matter whether you're a breast man, a leg man, a butt man, whatever, it's all the same fucking thing. It is the only motivator that will outlast all other motivators. And you know this. I'm assuming that everybody out there has at least experienced some aspect of sex. And if you have, you know its power. And so being a human being, you just want as much as possible. And, you know, I reached this point. Keep in mind, I had more money than God. I had nothing to do. I had property everywhere. I was bored. And so I go, well, how many women can I live with and fuck every day? I promise you 7 is the max. I mean, at least in this day and age. And at that, it took every ounce of effort that I had to keep it up. I don't mean sex. No, it's all the other shit that's the problem. I mean, for sex, here's what really happens. You know, if you're a guy and you want the truth, all women have had sex with all women. We all know this. There's not a single woman over the age of 21 who hasn't had sex with a woman. Maybe not in South Africa, but absolutely in all the rest of the Western world. Now, knowing that is advantageous. Okay, so what would happen is when we would have sex, after a couple of hours, I'd go off and watch TV, and the 7 of them were all having sex together. And it was fine. You know, it was a big place. I had lots of beds. But no, it's not the sex, because really that's where it ends. You think you're going to live in happiness forever and it's going to fuck your brains out. No, I'm sorry. You may fuck your brains out. Yes. At what price? You have no clue. I mean, I would go to town in the afternoon and come back. And all 7 would have made dinner for me.
Wow. All 7 of them.
No. And can you imagine dissing one? And they do this on purpose. I know. They're all plotting as soon as I leave the house. How can we fuck with him? And so I'd come back to this shit, all of them having made, you know, so I'd eat, you know, four spoonfuls at 7 different houses on the property. Because I each had not a big house, but a cabin with, you know, kitchen, bedroom, and a bathroom. So that's just one of the fucking examples.
Yeah.
And you will wear yourself out.
But do you think do you recommend that younger guys go through that phase, or it's a no? They should just settle for one.
No. Why? It's like driving a nail through your foot. I mean, you can do it, all right, but no. I mean, absolutely not. I'm not saying don't do 2 or don't live with 2, because I've done that before. I mean, it's entirely possible to have a decent relationship with, you know, any 3 people of any 3 genders. I mean, I know this for a fact. Sometimes 4. That gets very difficult.
You keep adding numbers, John. You keep adding numbers.
I'm sorry?
You keep adding up. Now it's going to reach to 7 again.
No. See, that's it. But actually, when it's a foursome, there's still only 3 others, okay? So with 7 women, that would be an 8-some. Anyway, doesn't fucking work. Not rewarding. I mean, seriously, if you want to have sex nonstop, you have all the money in the world, and that's what you want to do, move to Bangkok. Get yourself a suite in the nicest hotel there, and simply, when you tire of one, smile and send her off, and call the Asian and say, send me another. And if you don't like that one, say, I don't like her, take her back. And there'll be another one. I mean, there's much better ways to do it than how I tried.
I wonder, you know, when you, like you said, you make a lot of money and you start to experiment with such. When those things are exhausted, I suppose you can, there's a chance that one can get depressed as well, eh? Because, you know, those are the fantasies that people can think of. And then once you have them, you're like, okay, then what's next?
Well, you know, I don't know. I never got depressed at any point along the spin. So I have no experience in that. And quite frankly, the people that I know in similar situations are definitely not depressed. So I can't answer that question.
All right. So what is your, someone asked, maybe it's a personal question. I don't know if you want to share that. How many children do you have, and what is your relationship look like with your kids and your other family?
Whoa. I wish Janice were here to verify the truth of this, as I hate kids.
Okay.
However, I'm also the person that if I can't get rid of them by sending them home, closing the door, sneaking out the back, then I treat them like real people. And I would never let harm fall to a child, nor a dog, nor any animal. That if I could avoid it. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just this way. However, I just don't like them. Freaky little, rapidly moving around
Yeah,
things.
but I would assume if you have children, you don't have like little kids running around, right? They're probably older.
Well, when I had them, they were little kids running around. And I have 47 children, and the majority of them I have never spoken to, and they're in various countries. And a few, the daughter of my first marriage no longer speaks to me. So her granddaughter, I mean, her daughter does, a very great artist. But so but still, little young kids I don't care for. And
So
if they're not little young kids, then they don't need anybody's care, and they're not kids. So
right. So John, I think your life is going to be a big movie when it comes out, one day. I wonder, I mean, I've seen you mention that a couple of times in your tweets. Is it something that's really happening? It's going to happen in your lifetime?
Yes, it's supposed to happen next year. I mean, it's all over the press today that some new characters now playing the I'm talking about the movie King of the Jungle coming out next year. They hired Johnny Depp to play me at first, and then they moved to Michael Keaton. And Seth Rogen was going to play the reporter, but he backed out, and now he's being replaced by Zac Efron. Okay.
Keaton kind of look like you a little bit. You have some similarities. Keaton looks a
He's
little
not
bit
playing
like
me.
you.
He's not playing me. He's playing the reporter who comes to interview me in the movie. It's based on a real life event when a Wired reporter came down to the States just to live with me for a while and to interview me. So it's based on that story.
I think you can have I was about to say you cannot have a movie made out of your life when you're not being yourself, right? It's kind of full circle.
I don't know.
Yeah, man. So I know it's exactly 30 minutes now. So do you have to go? I mean, I can go on.
I'm afraid I do. I'm afraid Janice has me on a tight schedule. I'm so sorry.
Okay. But yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate your time here. So it's fantastic. I was looking forward to this interview for a long time. So made it happen, man. Thank you so much.
Whenever, but before you go,
before
you go, I'd like to offer some advice to you personally.
For sure.
That sign behind your right shoulder that says "Follow the money, not your passion."
Yeah.
It should read "Follow your passion."
Not the money. The money will come.
No, follow your passion. The money will come.
All right.
That's just my perspective. I don't insist on it, however.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for the advice, though. And for noticing that that post on the wall.
All right. Thank you, sir.
And say thanks to Mrs. McAfee as well. She made this
happen.
I will.
All right.
Yeah, for sure. Cheers, John.
And anytime I'll be happy to come on. Just let Janice know. All right.
All right, for sure. We'll do. Cheers, man.
Thank you.